Hey guys, this is my money tracker report for the week ending July 14th. I was tracking in my previous videos for Wednesday to Wednesday, but I'm going to switch it to Friday because I think most people are on that schedule. So I start with my bills this week, and what I do is I look at my month at a glance and I see what's coming up next. So what I have coming up next is credit card 7, medical bills 1, 2, and 3, life insurance, and Amazon Music. Those are all due on or around the 20th of this month. So that's what I'm going to be tracking for bills this week. Normally, the way this would go down is I would pay for each one of those exactly what was due when it was due. Okay. And if I did that, this total would come to $394. I'm not doing that anymore. So what I'm going to do is I take a look at those medical bills, that life insurance, all of that. I group it together. It comes to $208. Well, I know that $208 is more than $186. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up that credit card and I'm going to make a payment, but I'm not going to make it for $186. I'm not going to make it for $208. What I'm going to do is I'm going to address the $208 for those bills plus the interest on that particular card. Okay. All I'm trying to do is sleep this card. So what that means is I'm going to make a payment for $322. Instead of the $394 that I would have been making, I'm going to do $322. So I am neutralizing this card. I'm satisfying the payment of $186 because I'm calling up the card. I'm saying I want to make a payment, but I want to make it for $322. So all they care about is that $186. But I don't want my credit card to increase while I'm focusing on my primary card. So I'm going to pay for those individual bills with this credit card. Okay, so I know this gets confusing. Let me try to slow it down. I am going to call up the credit card. I know that I'm going to put those $208 on that credit card, but I don't want the credit card company to look at my credit card and see, because they look at your interest on an average daily balance. So I don't want to add those bills to the card first, right? I want to make that payment, pay that balance down first. Then I'm going to turn around and add medical bill 1, 2, 3, life insurance, and Amazon. Okay, so I'm going to neutralize it. Pay it down first, then pay those bills with that card. I still have the issue of the interest that's going to be on that card. So I'm going to pay that as well. So my new card payment, instead of the $186, instead of paying the $186 plus the $208 and bringing a grand total to $394, I'm going to do just the interest on that card of $114 and those individual payments, $208, $114 equals $322. Okay, so with all of my multiple cards, and this is why I'm doing it. For those of you who are only have one card you have to deal with, then just do it the regular way. But if you have multiple cards and you want to squeeze every single drop of cash flow that you can out of that to go towards your primary card, this is how I do it, and it may work for you. So again, I go from having to come up with $394 to $322 because I'm paying for those individual bills plus the interest. My balance on that card is not going anywhere, and I don't care because all I want to do is neutralize the multiples, focus on the primary. So over on the right side of the sheet is my primary. Those are my variable expenses. I got a budget for that. And I got those numbers from looking at 3 months of my credit card statements and 3 months of my bank statements and looking at my pattern of spending behavior. This is what we spend our money on. This is who we are as people. This is what we do. We have vices. We have things we like to spend. We came up with a number that would work within our budget, okay? And we are on an inconsistent income. So we know that we have to work with averages. This is what we felt like we could work with without getting into trouble. So $382.25 is what I budget every single week. And then I can spend my money on my Starbucks, groceries, fuel, tobacco, and miscellaneous. I can move around within that $382.25. I do not ever want to go over. I can go over on those little individuals as long as the grand total of $382.25, I'm not going over. So then at the bottom of the sheet is where I log what I spend for that week. Okay, so I'm just week to week So I'm going in. I have this credit card. My husband has this credit card. Okay. So it's all one account. He has a card. I have a card. Every day or every other day, I go in there and I log it down. Okay. So Starbucks, gas for me, gas for my husband, Starbucks again, groceries, gas, whatever it is. It falls into those categories. And at the end of the week, I total that up, put them into their individual category. I do the math. If it's in the red, you see that I went over budget. If it's in the green, I went under budget. As long as at the end of that week it's in the green, then I've done good. So that 382.25, you can see that satisfies the payment for that credit card, which when I started this, it was at $305. So that's satisfied. And I'm doing this every week. Okay. And here's where the magic happens. So when I take a look at my bills on the left and I look at my variable expenses on the right, I total it up. And for this particular week, it came to $704.25. So I know that is my goal this week. That's how much money I needed to have by the end of July 14th. I needed $704.25 to make sure everything was going to get paid. What actually occurred, again, our income is variable. If you know what yours is, this is going to be a lot easier. Our income is variable. What we got this particular week was $1,099. So I take $1,099 minus the $322. So that $322, I'm going into the bank, right? I'm going into the bank because then I'm going to pay down that credit card immediately. And then I'm going to put those bills back on that credit card, neutralizing that. So that's $322. That leaves me with $777. Guess where that $777 is going to? Yes, it is going on my primary card, card one. So that's how this is happening so quickly, okay? So I'm leaving in the bank only what I need to have in the bank for this week, what's coming out this week, so I can turn around and handle that. Everything else is going on this card. And that's how I'm doing my velocity banking. It's a lot easier if you just have the one card, but I have multiples, so I have to sleep them and then focus everything on the primary. So if you have any questions, list it down below. I know it's going to take a minute to get this. Like I watched Christy's videos. Christy Van, in case you're new, Vantastic, go watch her videos. She's great. It took me about 6 weeks to understand the concept of just doing it with one card. And then about 2 weeks later, it clicked. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got these multiple cards. I've got these multiple bills. Why don't I go ahead and squeeze every last drop of cash flow out of those so I can turn around and put it on this primary? So that's what I'm doing. Y'all can do it. It will click, I promise you. And questions, feedback, put it down below. It is hot up in here. I am recording, and I have to turn off all air. All right, you guys. Bye.